Every single day we hear there just isn't enough money for things we really need. Better healthcare, cleaner energy, quality education, an end to poverty. We're told the money's just not there. These are often called wicked problems, huge tangled issues like climate change and poverty that feel impossible to solve. They're so complex it's hard to know where to even start. And a big reason we're stuck comes down to one thing. We never seem to have the funding. But what if there was a simple solution? What if we just printed the money? Seriously, what if we fired up the money printer, not for corporate bailouts, but to finally build the world we actually want to live in? A world driven by purpose, not profit. Today, we're going to explore this radical idea and the potential risks that come with it. Just imagine it for a second. What if our economy wasn't all about the pursuit of profit, but instead the pursuit of purpose? Imagine a world where we could fully fund every hospital, modernize every school, and build all the green infrastructure we need to fight climate change. We know that spending on public health and education doesn't just improve lives, it boosts productivity and creativity and makes the whole economy stronger in the long run. For decades, these critical parts of our society have been underfunded, and it's holding us back. So printing the money to fix all that seems like a pretty direct path to a better world, right? We could wipe out student debt, guarantee housing, and invest in a future where people's well-being is the number one goal. It would be a huge experiment, a conscious choice to put people ahead of balanced budgets. And if it goes wrong, supporters might say, we can always pull back. When you're facing problems this big, don't you have to be willing to try something bold? It sounds almost perfect, a simple fix for the biggest challenges of our time, so why wouldn't we consider printing money to solve wicked problems? Traditional economists and policymakers fear most is hyperinflation. To traditional economists, this isn't just a fun little thought experiment. In various ways, it has been tried and the results have been far less than ideal. Take a look at Germany in the 1920s. To pay off its massive war debts from World War I, the government decided to just print the money it needed. At first, it seemed to be working, but soon things spiraled out of control. The more money they printed, the faster prices rose, and the faster prices rose, the more money they had to print just to keep up. We saw it again in Zimbabwe in the 2000s. Facing economic collapse, the government fired up the printing press, and the result was one of the worst cases of hyperinflation in history. And even more recently in Venezuela, a mix of bad economic policies and printing money to fund huge social programs led to the same kind of crisis. In every one of these cases, the lesson, according to traditional economists, is clear. You can't print money. When a government tries to print its way out of trouble, it risks destroying the value of the money completely. This is hyperinflation, a situation where money becomes worthless, the economy collapses, and society itself starts to fall apart. Pretty bleak, right? So is printing money always an immediate recipe for disaster? No, of course not. I wouldn't be making this video if that was the case. And this is where the debate gets really interesting. The truth is, developed countries print money all the time, just in a more controlled way. Central banks like the US Federal Reserve create new money to manage the economy, usually through something called quantitative easing, where they buy things like government bonds to pump more money into the system and encourage spending. The problem with this approach, in my opinion, is that it is too reactionary and too general, and it doesn't really address specific societal problem sets. This type of money printing is kind of a caveman's approach. Economy hurting? It not feel good? Fed print money. It doesn't really target specific challenges like climate change or poverty or education or healthcare. It is just saying productivity not high, profits not high, Fed print money. What if instead central banks could print money and inject the money into solutions to climate change, education, healthcare, poverty, and any other wicked problem that comes our way? This idea speaks directly to our big question. It suggests that maybe under the right conditions, we could print money to solve big problems. There are complex dynamics associated with funding anything. Many people say it's naive to think politicians could ever agree to raise taxes quickly enough to address wicked problems, so why not let central banks inject money strategically without having to go to Congress for approval? This may bring up debates about balance of power and the role of central banks, but we need to talk about these ideas if we are serious about addressing wicked problems. There is also a concern that if there is a surge in any kind of spending in our current economy, then there could be other non-inflationary side effects like a massive spike in carbon emissions as the carbon-based economy roars to life. And maybe the biggest problem of all, in a world as divided as ours, how would we ever agree on which problems to solve first? Would having more money available make us more or less divided? If we are successful in solving more and more problems, then will we gradually become more and more united? To truly fix the wicked problems of our time, we have to do the hard work of calculating how much money we need in total and for certain problem sets. And then we have to drive broad consensus to allocate money, time, and creativity to solving those wicked problems. It means making tough choices, working together, and investing wisely in the things that create real, lasting changes that work for everyone. Printing money is not the easier path. It is the harder path for sure. The easy path is to continue to argue over tax rates and pay-fors. Solving wicked problems doesn't suddenly become easy once we have plenty of money to work with. But solving wicked problems without proper funding makes impossible what should just be difficult. I don't believe the answer is simply to print more money and walk away. But I do believe the answer to many of our wicked problems is to understand how much money, time, and other resources are needed. If we do these calculations on a societal level, I believe we will see that we are grossly underfunding the solutions to the wicked problems that plague us. And that to me is a reason to consider printing money and to consider injecting it strategically into the solutions that will make the difference. How and how much are the real questions. And I hope you'll join me in advocating for that conversation. If you want to keep exploring the big ideas that shape our world, make sure to subscribe and join the conversation down in the comments. Thanks for watching.